Yes, indeed. Hello, and welcome to Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems. Yet again, I have to read that from the screen. It flows off the tongue, this lovely title we've got. I'm Mr. Stephen Allen, one of the two people doing this little show that hopefully you'll be enjoying. This is Mr. Erich McElroy.
Hello. And yes, I mean, the idea of the show is that we are comics who are in quarantine. We have nothing better to do because we have no more gigs. There's nothing for us to do except to try and make the people in our household laugh. And that is not working well, and solve problems. And I think one of the problems, I've been trying to put a positive headspace on where we're at with this current situation. And I think one of the things that could come out of this is that this will be the death of high-fiving. Because we're already not supposed to shake hands. We're supposed to do the elbow thing, which is fine. But I've never been a big fan of the high five. And I hadn't realized how much I hate high fives until I left America 20 years ago. And then every time I go back to America, I still would see, before this, people going, high five! Like, yeah, we closed the business deal. High five! And, when I see people do that much enthusiastic high-fiving, it just makes me remember why Americans all have guns. But the thing I really can't stand is the fist bump. And I am traumatized by an experience that happened years ago after a gig that happened to be in the UK, funny enough. And after the gig, there was this one kind of guy who'd organized it all. And he was going down a row of us and he was doing fist bumps. And the other people in the queue, he was from America, but the other people in the queue lined up there. He was going down the road doing fist bump, fist bump, fist bump, were British. And they were doing the fist bump back, but in sort of a polite but condescending way, which is something that English people do really well.
Oh, thank you.
And I was like, I don't like the hand, I don't like the high five, I don't like the fist bump, whatever. And I was gearing myself up to do it though because he'd done it to everyone else. And he got to me, and then he just didn't do it. So I punched him. But
fair enough.
Fair enough. So I think the death of those things, that could be one. If there's going to be anything good that comes from everything we're going through, the end of high fives and fist bumps.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and I like the fact that in this difficult time you're trying to paint a utopia of how things should be. That's nice. Yeah. I spend my time writing newspaper columns in various newspapers that maybe no one reads. That's not the point. It's the trying. It's not the winning. Yep. It's the competing.
Definitely.
And I try and find, since this started, and that's like 4 weeks now, I've been trying to write these newspaper columns. I do about 4 a week, trying to find the positives, the positive angles. And I'm slowly but surely failing because I tried to recently come think about what's going to be one of the most positive things from this to help morale. And I thought the lockdown and social distancing would cause a reduction in the number of extramarital affairs. And then I looked at the news today. Look, I'm no expert, I'm no doctor. But if you can't get within 2 meters of someone, it's very difficult to break your wedding vows with them. And I believe that to be true. And I thought it was going to be nice. And then I looked at the news today, and I am, yet again, probably wrong. And that is a worrying trend that I've noticed about all my opinions about the news. The TV show Strictly Come Dancing?
Yes, I'm aware of it.
They dance. Turns out they are going ahead. Now, I'm not going to criticise that. I get to turn up for about a minute's worth of the MASH report every week, and we film from home, so that's good. And if I'm brutally honest about it, I really enjoy recording stuff from home. It's better than travelling all the way into a studio. Yes, I miss the live audience, but I can't fit 400 people in my flat, so I've made my peace with that. But what they're doing is they can't have a live audience, but they can't film from home because it's a lot of dancing and spinning around and all the other things that they do. So their plan, according to one tabloid today, is to have the dancers and the celebrity contestants in lockdown together for months.
But, I mean, hasn't that show already had some problems with this?
It's broken up more marriages than the Jeremy Kyle show. Yes.
Wow.
And that was that was in the days when the dancers and the celebs only met at work, and now they've got to be living together. It's turning it into some sort of, the normal show will be the same, but the after show will just be some sort of Euro trash sex fest. Let's see who's bonking whom. Having a sentence with the word bonking and the correct version of whom at the same time means I don't know which audience we're aiming this show at, but whichever one it is, we're missing. Okay, the TV show, it will ruin relationships, and the TV show will probably be all right this year. Next year's show will be terrible. Most of the people will be off on maternity leave. So it's difficult to try and find positives in that.
But you know what? I think if you want to stop the people from the show from fooling around with each other, making them live together could cure that. This is what the show needed all along, to save all the people are going to be pining for the people who are back home that they've left behind, rather than the dancer that they're living with. And I mean, I don't want to make aspersions towards dancers, but I mean, come on. I mean, have you ever tried to chat up a dancer?
No, I don't know how.
Exactly.
Right.
Just twirl away. I don't know. I'm just guessing they don't have a lot to say.
I tried to chat up a dancer once, but it was very difficult because they were in a long line with their friends and they were really getting into the can, and that's just dangerous. So maybe it's about timing. I don't know. It's all right. What we're doing here is we are answering any questions you have about coronavirus news, any problems you have with socially isolating, all of that. Send them to us and we will help you out with them, because who better to ask than two out-of-work comedians? You can message on the YouTube thing linked to this video, and you can send it via our social media. I am at Mr. Stephen Allen on Twitter, and he
is at Erich McElroy. And if you do like what we're advising, or if you want us to stop, either way, on the YouTube channel there is a PayPal link, because we have no income right now. So if you are furloughed, which is a great word, we are just for nothing. We are for empty. We're gone.
For locked.
For locked.
I thought that would sound ruder, but it didn't.
Say it.
If you want to spend,
you can contribute
money,
something if you'd like.
Just saying, if you got any furlough money to waste, buy one of these books.
Waste it on us. Oh
yeah, one that you can't quite see.
Got books. I've got Tat in my house. So, so we should solve some problems. Do you want to? What's the first person? We had some people send us some questions.
I also set up the web address. I think it was something like comics@somenews.co.uk. Stephen Leatherdale sent in touch via email. He sent this one. Hi guys, I have a coronavirus question for you. Are satirical comedians now the fourth emergency service, saving us from incompetent leadership? Cheers from Stephen. It's a darn good question, because implied in that question is something that makes us feel good. So I'll have a slice of that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the fourth emergency service?
If it meant that I could go shopping during the special time and get discount takeaway food, yes.
Before satirists, what would you have said the fourth emergency service was?
Because let's recap the first three.
The main three:
police,
taste, smell. No, I'm getting confused.
No, that's not it.
Police,
fire, wind, water.
Earth, wind, and fire.
Fire. No, it's going to be police, ambulance, and fire department.
There's the main three.
What about the ambulance people?
What would you have said the fourth? Because there was an ad campaign. I don't know if you lived in the UK by this stage. There was an ad campaign where the AA called itself the fourth emergency service, which I think if I were a member of Cave Rescue, Mountain Rescue, the lifeguards, any of these people, I'd have been like, you fix people who run out of petrol, you dick.
Those coastal helicopter dudes, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say, I think you do need comedy. I think
right now it'd be pretty bloody.
I would always say, you always do, but I'd say probably fourth before us are definitely the Saint. Well, I'm fairly middle class, so the Sainsbury's delivery. If we get, we've signed up for all of them now. So to be fair, if necessary, I'll take a delivery from Morrison's.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You know, you're middle class when you think Ocado is the fourth emergency service.
Because you're from the north, so Morrison's is probably quite posh for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's way too fancy for me. I'm so scummy that Deliveroo would be my fourth emergency service.
Yeah,
and by God, it's keeping me alive.
Because the problem we have, which is why we're doing stuff like this, is we have no audiences to give us feedback, which is what you generally need for comedy. And so if right now, that's why we say if we can't hear your laughter, we can hear your contribution to PayPal. But
he's desperate.
I've only been able to do this because I told my wife this would make us money. But so, yeah, we're definitely dropping. I would say we're definitely part of the emergency service brigade. but I'd like to think we're beyond the numbers.
What does that mean?
It means we're countless.
Oh, like the ordinal numbers, whatever they are. Yeah, first, second, third, all that. But
We're sort of like another dimension of service.
Yeah, good. I think we provide an essential role, actually, because it's people like us who get to point out when leaders are being stupid, and that's, it's enjoyable. And
when does that ever happen?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've prepared a clip. Now, a lot of people are saying bad things about the way that we're dealing with things over here. And one thing I think helps us Brits is just checking in to see how Trump's dealing with your former hometown. And it makes us feel better. So here's the long clip of a press briefing that Donald Trump gave recently. Have a listen to this.
1.87 million tests today, so that's 1,870,000 million tests.
Always love that one, because that's him getting the number wrong. But when he was talking specifically about the coronavirus news, it seemed quite positive.
We see light. We're starting to see it more than ever before. We've held our rate, the numbers, everything we've done. We've been very, very strong on it and very powerful on it. We see light.
Strong and powerful. That's good. I'm not sure if that's in any way helpful words, but he's been strong, he's been powerful, he's been mighty. And if you really pushed him on it, he probably said, Trump be good.
Trump always be good.
Yeah.
Always be good.
Do you make you feel good about the way that you're dealing with things in America?
Well, I mean, these daily press conferences have become really important for Donald Trump because Melania doesn't want to talk to him anymore now that he can't go golfing anymore, and he can't go golfing anymore. So he needs to have somebody to brag to and lie to other than his caddy. So basically, we're providing a service, and every time he's spending 2 hours speaking to these press conferences, he's not making any decisions that will kill more Americans.
That's true. I'm glad you pointed out that they do go on for a long while. Some of them have been like 2.5 hours. That's as long as Netflix films, because Netflix films should be edited and no one ever bothers to. Yeah. But the reason they're long is not because he's saying a lot, it's because of the gaps. I'm going to play my favourite bit of the clip that we've just seen, is the gap that he takes. Have a listen to this.
More than ever before, we've held our rate.
That is the kind of gap that someone takes when they're voicing out, sounding out what a difficult word is going to be like to say in their head. And then he says the word rate. Like if he was going to say hydroxychloroquine, which he does a lot, that malaria drug that's good for malaria.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you need to sound that one out. You don't want to get it wrong. You know me, former chemist, so I know that that hydroxy tells us there's an OH group, a little functional group at one part of the molecule. The chloro bit, there's a chlorine on there somewhere. And you don't want to say hydroxychloroquine wrong, because if you do, you're using someone's drag name. And it's 2020. You're going to get, you're going to upset people. But if you're sounding out words, the word you're sounding out shouldn't be a one-syllable word like rate. So I've put together what I think is going off inside his head, his Donald Trump's internal monologue when he's reading that out.
More than ever before, we've held...
Oh, God. R-A-T spells rat, but the E makes it...
Rate.
Yep, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. You've cracked it. Yeah. You've cracked that empty nut of what he calls a head. And I mean, the thing is, Trump is famous for tripping over words and just embracing the word as if that's what he meant to say. So I think with that, for him, the word rate is, you just switch that T for a P, and that's a word he wants to avoid saying.
So that's no wonder he slowed down on it.
That's why he slowed down on that one. But he normally just embraces what he's going to say wrong. So I can only imagine what he was going to say wrong is the P sound. Yeah. And he realized that would be bad. He's learned that much in his time as president. And so he did. But normally he just embraces it. Like, I mean, there's lots of clips of him, basically saying that we need to make sure that, America has good tables. And those tables, when he meant to, say, tapas or whatever he was going to say.
Oh, oranges and origins.
More tapas.
Do you remember the origins and oranges thing?
Oh, yeah. Or the United States of America, where his dentures fell out. So, I mean, yeah. what's great is he's going after sleepy Joe Biden for having little trip ups, because Joe Biden often messes things up, as I mess up saying that. But that's partly because he's got a childhood stutter, which he's always struggled with all of his life. So that's always a little bit there, probably at the back of Joe Biden's mind and his speaking style. Whereas Donald Trump is just still a child.
Oh, good stuff. So yeah, I think we've proved that we are in some ways the fourth emergency service. We can help out and things like that.
Yeah.
Before we move on, actually, there is another clip which I wanted to fit in, just because right. Anyone follows me on social media, you'll know I've very much enjoyed Priti Patel getting numbers wrong. I already played the Donald Trump clip of him not being able to read out numbers. There's another case from America of a number problem. Kellyanne Conway, is she still technically working? Is she still the press, whatever? She's the press devil.
She's a senior advisor to the President of the United States.
See, but advisor as in the little red one that appears on one shoulder saying, like, do it.
Yes, that's exactly it.
So she was on Fox News, and she said,
some of the scientists and doctors say that there could be other strains later on. This can come back in the fall in a limited way. This is COVID-19, not COVID-1, folks. But people should know the facts.
Yep. People should know the facts. And that 19, it's not even that difficult to guess, refers to the year. I mean, I thought it was the other way around. Like, COVID-19 sounds out of date. They should rebrand it as COVID-20.
Is that what it is? It refers... Oh, sorry. Are
you struggling with
I lost
numbers?
you a little bit down to the magic of Skype.
Yeah, COVID-19, it's not the 19th version of COVID that they've tried to develop. When I went to university in Birmingham, they had a pint called Brew 11. And I remember saying, if this is the 11th one, the first 10 must have been really shit. This is not what they've done with COVID. It's not a sequel.
I just thought it was the age of the COVID, which means this one is, because in America you have to be 21 to drink, you have to be 18 to buy a gun. So this COVID is 19, which makes it lethal, but just because they still can't drink yet.
Yeah, and alcohol does actually get rid of the coronavirus. So eventually, when COVID turns 21, problem solved.
So we've got 2 years left of this.
I'm amazed you've solved another one. Any more questions that you want? Actually, before we read out another question, we should say on social media at Mr. Stephen Allen, at Erich McElroy, you can send us questions. We'll get through some of them. What do you got for us, Eric?
Well, I think what's apparently one of the alleged causes of COVID-19, or if you want to call it that, allegedly called that, has been that it's the 5G mobile phone network cell phone network for my American family that is causing COVID-19. And that's because there's a lot more 5G towers that have been put up in the last 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah. And now we have this virus attacking us. So clearly you've got A happens, then B happens, and we need to destroy our phones and burn down those towers to save lives.
So,
and so somebody asked us if that was a valid theory, and I'm going to say, yeah.
Okay, because I can understand how you'd take the side of the conspiracy theorists, and I would take the side of the facts. To say that just because there are more 5G towers and then there's more coronavirus, that means we should be blaming the Spanish flu on inventing the airplane or something like that. It feels like the Spanish flu is probably caused by Germans losing wars. Because let's just go through the clock of that. First World War didn't go well for them. I mean, I'm a big fan of the result. If you've not actually read the result, I won't spoil it for you. You might have TiVoed it.
It's a documentary on Netflix. Watch it after you watch the Tiger one.
There's a film about it, 1917. When that film then clearly caused the Spanish flu that happened in 1918. So why don't we burn down all of films?
That, you're making a very strong argument there. I think that people basically have a lot of time on their hands right now, and people want to understand what's happening in their lives. And so, everybody now is a scientist and an expert, thanks to the internet. And that means that if you find one thing and you find another, those two things are clearly related.
Yeah. Okay, it's terrifying.
Fact.
I do, like, my conspiracy theory would be most of the people who think that 5G is causing COVID-19 have received some dumbass WhatsApp message about it. WhatsApp, which is spread on 4G, It's just it's marketing. It's just 4G trying to ruin its competitor.
That's true.
You fell for
Yeah,
it.
I mean, because what did we? I mean, I'm trying to remember what we had during the Great Recession. What G we were on back then, 2008. Did we have any Gs?
In America, you were on a Gee, sir, I sure would like a job. That's one thing I remember about the Great Depression.
I was thinking that was Ali G.
Oh, right.
When was he successful?
Yeah,
I think that might be. What's his name?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron. That guy. Where's he these days, huh? What's he been doing? Haven't seen him lately.
Making films,
Have
probably.
you? No. Sacha Baron Cohen, 5G, coronavirus.
Right.
It's all there.
Okay. The worrying thing is we're doing this on the internet, so it's a joke for us, but with it being a clip that is liftable off the internet, someone will be now spreading this.
That's true. YouTube algorithms are probably already squashing this video because they're trying to cover up the truth.
So yeah, I must admit, I don't think here's what I think. I don't think that 5G, which uses less powerful than light's electromagnetism, so it's non-ionizing radiation, could in any way do anything with any molecules. RNA, DNA would require at least ionizing powers of radiation to be affected by it. I would think, if anyone would like to correct me on that, type it up as a detailed email, print it off, cram it up your own hole, and that would be lovely.
If anybody even, I mean, come on. I mean, all I heard was like the Swedish chef of whatever it is.
It's like in Charlie Brown, isn't it? Like a grown-up for Charlie Brown when I talk science.
Just yeah.
Right.
That's my Charlie Brown impersonation. I've been working on my impressions.
Glad you've
during
been
all
using
this.
your time usefully. Any questions you'd like to send through, you can get them to us on social media at Mr. Stephen Allen, at Erich McElroy. Tim Lager, I don't know if that's how you meant to say it, doesn't really matter. A couple of questions from him. Has JD Sport shut yet? Brilliant.
I'm thinking, I mean, I'm glad that you asked the question, Tim. I'm thinking that you could have just Googled it,
True.
to be honest. But I'm glad that we're your resource for information. Yeah. And I think the broader question, is sports an essential item during this time?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sporty. No. You, I believe, are not sporty.
How can you tell?
Are sport essential? No.
No.
At this time, I guess. I mean, we get an hour of exercise a day, which is more exercise than I had in most days of my life. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I did panic buy some table tennis balls before this all got locked down.
Why?
I don't really want to say why. No, because we have a table, and I knew I was going to be home with the kids, and we were low on balls.
Happens as you get older.
It does happen.
This feels like this was also a plan for when the money really dries up, when the Steve and Eric Solve Problems doesn't earn you any money in the donations. All of a sudden, there's an OnlyFans account that happens, and you're making some sweet, what's the other dodgy ones? Live Jasmine account opens up, and it's just you with some ping pong balls.
We did buy 2 packs of the balls, and one of the packs remains unopened. So if you didn't get any ping pong balls before the ping pong balls sold out, I could sell you some ping pong balls.
Okay, well in that case, I've not been using my 1 hour of exercise every single day. So if you'd like to buy my stock, you have it, because I'm not going to use it. Good luck to you.
But as a broader question, I would say it should shut. Yeah. Would you concur with that?
I very much enjoyed when Sports Direct said that they'd stay open because they're an essential service. It was one of the first people to do it when that was the news. Like non-essential shops will shut, and Sports Direct, Mike Ashley from Sports Direct said, "Well, we'll stay open because we're essential."
Yeah.
No, you sell massive cups with the word Sports Direct on it, and I tell you what, we can wait. We could probably use 2 smaller cups rather than 1 big one. You certainly could with your ping pong balls.
Yeah, and based on what I heard, he pays his staff. He could afford to stay open because he didn't have a lot of costs or overhead.
Yeah, and although they do, I think they also sell some sort of high protein bars by the till. So
that's true.
Food shop.
That would be helpful.
Right, we've got 6 minutes left. Any more questions? Get them through to us. Have you got any more questions there, Mr. Erich McElroy?
What else have we got here? Well, basically, in general, this is a problem that I don't think you have, as far as I know, and I've only known you for 15 odd years, about having children. And especially now, because kids have been doing schoolwork, but this last 2 weeks, they've been on Easter holiday, allegedly. So basically, as parents, should we just let our children run feral within the confines of our own house? Or should we actually be trying to maybe keep them off screens, give them some structure, or should we just allow them to beat the crap out of each other and just forget about, this year of their life ever being productive?
Yeah, I think the thing that really cinched it for me is the bit where you said within the confines of our own house. So, yeah if it keeps your kids in your house and away from me, and you know what I'm going to bring up here. We've done enough shows together in Edinburgh, Eric.
Don't mention that.
I've
this
got
is
to
a
bring
public
it up.
Broadcast.
But we always mentioned it. Can I mention it on the internet?
They might be watching.
Okay. There are reasons to keep your family away from me.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, still got the scars. So, it sounds worse when I don't explain what it is. But I would say, yes, look, this is the 1 year. We just need to write this off. If we were to plot IQ across the generations, there'll be a dip. And it's not, you should have Sports Direct written on that. It's look at you with a British flag trying to blend in.
Trying to blend.
Look, there's just going to be one generation that grows up. They can't do joined up handwriting. They can't do maths. They don't like the outdoors because they're scared of viruses and stuff. And we'll go back to normal life afterwards. So I think, we just write off your kids. Just, there'll be more kids.
I mean, what's going to be, I guess what else do you do with them? Because, I guess there's books. They could read books, or they could burn books. I don't know what you do with books anymore.
I could send you some of these, Eric, if you want
to. Are they age appropriate?
No, and I would still send an invoice with them, but yeah.
So that's right. You can buy books from Steve. You can contribute to our PayPal donation page.
Still desperate.
Still not desperate. Just reminding. This is always be selling the ABCs. I think we have to give our kids. We have to give our lives a little bit of structure. So I'm not ready to go completely feral. We're on the 15th of April. I didn't realize this has been a month now. My last gig was a month ago, and that's how these things should all be measured. So I think the French extended today until the middle of May. I would imagine we're not far behind.
Yeah. Do you know
we're following the French?
I'm going to do that as much as no one else cares. I want to see what my last gig was. And this is depressing, isn't it? So we're in April. We swipe back to March. When was the last time?
I'm getting my diary open because I've got these framed now, all my previous gigs.
I think the last time I did a gig was on the 14th of March. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I was the 15th, so it's exactly 1 month ago.
Yeah, it was the 15th. Yeah, I remember. In fact, there's a picture. I did a picture on Twitter saying like these people have left the house. And there was no one sat in the front row. And it was the time I did material about normally comedians moan, oh no, there's no one in the front row. But that was the one time on stage I was like, good. In fact, second row, could you piss off to the back? Because you might be contagious. And now I miss it.
That was an interesting weekend. The Friday gig that weekend, it was like kind of fun. There was a fun spirit in the room. Like we're out, maybe we shouldn't be out. Then the Saturday, it was tipping a little bit, like people were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be here at all. And then by Sunday, the audiences were like, we bought these tickets in advance and they weren't giving refunds. So it was just a cooling off of like, yeah, we're kind of being naughty. We're being naughty. We're going out. Oh, is that guy coughing next to me? And then the next day, you're all diseased. And I'm sure I don't know how many people from that gig didn't make it.
Oh, it's truth. Right, so we've got like a minute and a bit left. I suppose it doesn't matter if we overrun, but we should wrap up soon. I've got one more question. Do you want to do another desperate plug of the donation link underneath?
Yeah, if you're liking what you're doing, you can subscribe to Steve's page. You can go to my YouTube page, subscribe. You can follow us on social media. You're Mr. Steve Van Allen. I'm just Erich McElroy on Twitter. And there's a PayPal donate button if you want to contribute to us because we don't have any money.
Send the man a pound.
Send us a pound.
Final question then. So Tim says, how can I take advantage of the extraordinary profit opportunities Mog has identified? For those who don't know, this is the hedge fund that Jacob Rees-Mogg set up. He still owns 15% of it. And they identified that this would be a great time to make supernatural profits.
Supernatural.
Supernormal. That's it. Supernormal. Supernatural would be like, I've got ectoplasm. Where am I going to spend that? Supernormal profits.
Is Ghostbusters an essential service?
Yeah, flipping would be, wouldn't they? Imagine if you're haunted, it's not like you can leave the house.
Yeah.
So how would you get in on it? Look, I guess basically, as much as it's great to mock Jacob Rees-Mogg, and by God it is, it's fun. You should do it. They were just saying if the stock market is low, you will make better returns in the future. So whenever there's a crash, people have always made money after a crash. You just need to work out how long you leave it before you invest again. But that's not going to work for me and you. We don't have any money to invest. Someone who's got time to tweet us, they've not got money hanging around. So if you want to make profits during the coronavirus thing, you need to start investing where it makes sense. Face masks, for example.
Yep.
I'd buy now and sell later because people are going to need face masks.
There was around it would have been around, I was in central London around the 10th of March, and there was a pharmacy that was selling a box of masks. I think the N95 masks for £50 for 50 masks. And I was like, dude, I'm not doing that. I mean, I would do that now.
Yeah. And I invested heavily in toilet roll at the right time. So, and then what I did, because I'm clever, I'm shrewd, I'm a Jacob Rees-Mogg when it comes to these things. I bought loads of toilet roll and then stopped eating fibre. So I've double wedged it. I've managed to get double the returns. I've got a massive stockpile selling it on eBay. So, but they don't let you sell toilet roll on eBay, so I just have to call it, like rolled up paper for a printer.
I think that's pretty much. I had a roll nearby. I try and keep a roll nearby all the time. I've misplaced it now. That's when gigs start running again. That's how I'm going to be paying comedians.
You keep a roll of toilet roll in your study near your laptop.
Yep, somewhere, just in case.
In case of.
What? I've got so much right now. I use it for so many different things.
I'm going to leave that mental image right there.
There we go. So I think hopefully we've solved some problems.
Yeah.
I think we've probably created more.
True. If you have any questions, I would say get them to us now. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. You can email. I think I set it up for comic. It doesn't matter. Anything before @summernews.co.uk comes through to me. So comics @summernews.co.uk is where we've been getting some of these questions. @Mr. Stephen Allen, @Erich McElroy for Twitter. And find us on YouTube. You could do it there. I think that's it. I think we're sorted. Anything else to mention before we go? Anything to plug?
No. I'm doing. This is it. You're laughing already because you know the answer to this. Because I've got nothing else going on. Because there's just nothing to do. It's just the children going feral and toilet paper to hold me through the night.
Yeah. What? I'll be sitting down watching an awful lot of Netflix.
Yeah.
That's what I've got planned. So until the careers come back, we'll see you tomorrow for more of this. Till then, bye.
Bye.